Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a little knife discussion for you. I'm actually on a short little walk and kind of a nice morning, a little bit of snow falling. There was some fresh snow, about 3 inches last night. And it kind of died down, so I thought it'd be a nice time to go for a little walk. And I thought I'd have a little chat with you guys while we're doing this. So, had a question a couple of days ago. Just climbed a hill, so I'm a little winded. I had a question though a couple days ago in a Facebook group, and I thought I would go ahead and share that discussion with you guys, get your own thoughts and share some of mine. I've got to say the forest is absolutely beautiful after a bit of a light snowfall. Anyway, the question was, if you were going to be lost out in the wilderness, sort of like we are now, although we're not lost, there's a pretty clear trail right in front of me, and actually someone else has used it recently. And I mean really recently, what folder would you want to take? That was the question. If you were lost in the woods, you could only have one folder. Which folder would it be? All right, so to me that was a pretty obvious answer, and I've got it right here. For me, that's going to be the Cold Steel Formax. I think I'm still focused on the trees. There we go. That's going to be the Cold Steel Formax if I have to take a folder. But I wanted to have a little discussion about another knife as well that I've used a bit recently. I was going on a little hike, and this is a knife I keep in my truck most of the time. I pulled it out because I thought I might want to do some fire stuff. This is my Becker BK9. You can see it's fairly beat up. I guess I should have cleaned it or something before the video, but this is just how it rides around in my truck anyway. In a minute, I'll show you guys why this would be my one tool option. There's a spot up here where I think it's going to be a little quieter, where I can actually stop and have a bit of a conversation. So let's go ahead and get there now. But in the meantime, I'd love to hear down in the comments below, what is your one knife option? Here's my challenge, here's the challenge of this conversation. I really can't imagine a scenario where somehow I get lost in the forest with only one knife, okay? If I'm doing something that I know could result in having to spend prolonged periods of time in the bush, I'm gonna take appropriate tools to deal with that scenario, all right? And most of the time, I don't know, if you're in a plane crash, you know, in the Canadian Shield, maybe you could get yourself in some trouble that way, but then you're on a plane. You don't have the option to carry a knife anyway, so I really don't know what scenario. So maybe let me know your suggestions down below, or if you really have been stuck in the bush and needed a knife, and you know, it was totally unexpected. How did that happen to you? I'd love to hear in the comments down below. All right, I'm going to pause this until I get to the spot where I want to do a little bit of demonstrating for you guys why I like the BK9 for a one tool option if I really ever had to make that choice. But my contention is that I can't imagine very easily a scenario in which you would have to make that choice. So let's pause this, and I'll pick this conversation up in a couple of minutes. All right, I guess we're going to be editing this a little. Okay guys, I'm here at a spot. I found this stump as I was walking, and I thought I'd stop here and carry on our conversation that we started. And I already showed you the two knives that I had in mind. The first one being the BK9. Now again, I'm not a huge advocate of a one tool type of situation. However, if I really had to pick one tool, this would be pretty high on my list, or something else very similar to this. And I'm sure this is not the only knife that can meet these specifications, but look guys, the reason I like this is because of the versatility and balance. So if I want to do some chopping, it actually can do some serious, you can see I've been doing a little bit beforehand. I don't know if I can get an up chop because the legs of my tripod are like right here. just off camera, okay? So I can't really get a good swing this way, but I can do a decent swing this way. Anyway, you can see this is not bad when it comes to chopping, all right? It's also thin enough at the edge that I can slice if I wanted to do some food prep stuff. If I'm, you know, skinning an animal, I wouldn't want to skin an animal with a knife this big, but you could get the job done, I think, all right? It's got a good fine point for piercing, but it's also robust enough to do a little bit of prying if I need to. Again, hopefully I never need to. And let me demonstrate one more thing. If I'm making feather sticks or I'm doing some kind of carving task, all right, this may not be the best knife for the job, but I can get that kind of work done. All right, now this is not a great example for what we're talking about here, but since it's stationary and I don't have enough hands to hold on to all kinds of stuff, plus run a camera, this actually works pretty well for what I'm trying to show you guys. Okay, so because of the versatility, it can chop, it can slice moderately well. The steel is gonna be okay to sharpen. And that's the other big thing here is I could find, you know, I could find a smooth rock or whatever and get a decent edge on this. Unlike some other, you know, if it was M390 or something like that, really, really impossible. Now, the other knife that I mentioned to you guys was the Cold Steel Formax. And I will say this, with a folder, all right, I'm not going to try batoning. I might do something like this kind of thing, you know, where I give this a pound with the back of my hand. Beyond that, I'm just not going to baton with a folder. I'm certainly also not going to chop, so none of this. As I say, if I absolutely had to, now think of this, guys, in a real survival situation, I would be extremely gentle with this because this is all I've got. If it breaks, I'm in real trouble. So I'm not going to be doing any chopping. I'm actually going to be pretty gentle in terms of how I use this to make sure that I have a tool that's going to be around for a long time. But just because of the toughness is the primary reason I would pick this, as well as the versatility. I've got a big heavy blade. I can actually do quite a bit of work with this knife. And outside of, as I say, outside of chopping and batoning, all right, everything else that I need to do, I can probably get it done with this knife. So those are the two knives. If I had to pick a folder, I'd be going with the Formax. If I had to pick a fixed blade, I'd be going with the BK9 or something similar. Now, the big challenge and the warning I would issue is if you're looking for something like this, it doesn't have to be the BK9, but I would want something with a thin enough edge that I can still do some slicing. And the other thing is, with that thinner edge, it allows me to chop with less energy required because it'll bite deeper into the wood, okay? Something heavier and way thicker is not going to have the slicing ability that I get out of this guy. So for those reasons that we've discussed, now I'm repeating myself, so I'm going to shut up. All right. So I'm ready to head off out of here. Hopefully that was a worthwhile discussion for you. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to pick up some of the stuff we've been talking about in this video, of course, you can check White Mountain Knives. Not going to make any promises. I do think they have a Formax in stock, but the other thing you can do is head over to DLT Trading. DLT Trading tends to have some good stuff in stock. And sorry, I'm just filming as I walk out of here and I'm folding down my tripod. Anyway, the other thing about DLT is it does help the channel quite a lot if you use those guys for your purchases. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming on a little hike out here with me. Beautiful, beautiful surroundings. I just love that freshly fallen snow, although every once in a while I get a little mini blizzard because the wind starts blowing all the snow off the tree limbs. Have a great day. Let me know what you would pick as your options, and don't forget to use those links. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you soon.